And all because of him. And all because of him.
Russia is taking to the streets again. Red Square is turning into a symbol of fear and anger. Nationalists, musicians, artists are rebelling, even those who just yesterday were shouting for the motherland. And
it's all about to start.
The FSB is conducting raids. Young people are being thrown into police vans and words are already being spoken at the Kremlin walls. They're being lined up against the wall. The country is entering a new spiral of repression and panic.
Breaking news, friends. New protests are happening at the Kremlin. Moscow, Red Square, now the center of protest and fear. Every evening, new groups come out there. Nationalists, liberals, artists. Some shout, enough with the war. Others, Putin has betrayed us. They are united by one thing, hatred for the Kremlin and exhaustion from a senseless dictatorship. At this very moment, Moscow is suffocating from its own raids. The FSB and the National Guard are clearing the squares. They grab young people and drag them into police vans. On Red Square, dozens have been detained. Among them are artists, musicians, and street singers. Anyone who dared to sing, write, or simply speak is now considered an extremist. The FSB is responding as it did in the 1930s. Young people are being grabbed right in the metro, and police vans are stationed in the squares. According to eyewitnesses, people are being detained even for holding single-person pickets. The police do not give any reasons, they just say it's a special operation. At this very moment, nationalists are marching in Lyubertsy near Moscow. They are protesting against Putin. More than 100 men in masks and jackets bearing the symbols of the Russian community march through the streets shouting the slogan, Russia for Russians. Hundreds of nationalists are marching in Lyubertsy. Masks, torches, songs about a great Russia. The police pretend not to see, but this isn't a patrol. It's a new wave of Russian chauvinism. The same athletic guys who started the gangs of the 90s. This is no accident. It's a reaction to the regime's decay. When the authorities lose control, those who believe only in force take to the streets. The police stay silent because these are their people, the very same ones who were called patriots just yesterday. In Perm, street singer Ekaterina Romanova was detained. She was singing in support of the arrested musicians from the band Stoptime, anti-war, anti-Putin songs. They say
that the right leg takes longer strides and we keep going in circles, but I say we'll make it through the obstacles. There are lights ahead.
Now a second case is being brought against her for organizing an unauthorized concert. The singer said, I just want to sing without risking ending up behind bars. But today in Russia, even a song against Putin, against the war, is a protest. At the same time, a smear campaign is underway. Kremlin bots have flooded social media. They are demanding real prison terms for the artists. They call them traitors, comparing them to terrorists. The TV channel Tsargrad has even drawn parallels between the musician and Daria who killed a war correspondent. Any emotion, any song is declared a threat to Putin, a threat to the Kremlin regime. Let the beautiful, graceful swans dance. Let them dance elegantly and freely for their beloved lake, where the shimmering crest is gently hidden, and the earth is alive with the enchanting song of a nightingale on the glowing screen. Let the swans dance. Let them move with poise and beauty.
These memorable words from Noise MC's song about Swan Lake have been heard by many people, but they have never sounded quite as clear, as loud, and as convincing as they did on this square, performed by this huge crowd of people. And those to whom these words are addressed, those very fucking inhumans, are starting to realize that they are the fucking inhumans. And this describes them very precisely, very meaningfully, very convincingly. And this phrase has a chance to really stick to them. Just as back in the day the phrase crooks and thieves stuck, now the phrase fucking people will stick to them. And that's absolutely right. I fully approve of this.
The migrant protests in the Moscow region and in Moscow, the migrant riots against Muscovites haven't even died down yet, and already the nationalists have announced their own new uprising. And while some are being jailed for singing songs, others are being called to guard oil refineries.
In connection with the emerging threat of the Ukrainian armed forces using long-range unmanned aerial vehicles, there is now a risk of strikes on critical aviation facilities and other residential areas in the Tyumen region.
Reservists are being lured into work, 30 to 50,000 rubles for the risk of dying in the next explosion. This isn't an army, it's a meat grinder. The regime is literally holding the country together with fear and
In order to increase the level of protection for critical medical facilities, a decision has been made to employ the most well-trained, patriotically minded citizens to defend these sites. A reservist is considered to be a citizen who is in the reserve, has signed a contract with the Ministry of Defense, is medically fit, and is between 18 and 50 years old. The main difference between a reservist and armament: a contract serviceman believes that he combines his regular work with being in the reserve. I would like to note that reservists who are called upon to protect important critical facilities are not involved in the special military operation and will carry out their duties in the region where the critical facility is located. In our case, this is the Tyumen region. I would also like to point out that the period of service in this reserve is 60 days. A mandatory requirement, which is strictly enforced, is that all reservists must undergo compulsory, comprehensive training for a total duration of 14 days, under the close supervision and expert guidance of highly experienced specialists, as well as professional instructors at the renowned Tyumen Engineering School. This ensures that every participant receives the necessary skills and knowledge. And
against the backdrop of this madness, Ilya Medvedev's words, "The death penalty is sometimes useful," take on a certain meaning. The phrase, as if it had come from his father's mouth, has simply become a meme. But Russians are in no mood to laugh. Firing squads, Zelenogradsk is now absolutely not a metaphor. Instead of
making proper, comfortable benches for people on the renovated Zelenogradsk promenade, they put this here. What is this even for, and how is one supposed to use it? I've heard that these benches are called firing squad walls. It's unclear what the city administration was thinking when they designed this. But it was clearly not about making things comfortable and convenient for people. What do you think about these standing benches? Will they make proper ones, or will they just leave this?
people see in them a reflection of the future, where not even songs remain. Today, Russia stands between a song and a police van, between the square and the wall. And even if the Kremlin once again declares that everything is under control, that it's all over, control has been lost. And now fear exists on both sides of the barricades. Friends, there are mass protests near St. Petersburg, Moscow, and Petersburg. Perm, other regions of Russia, police vans, the FSB, and other special services that monitor young people who sing anti-war and anti-Putin songs. And of course, right-wing radical groups in central Moscow and migrant riots. All of this indicates that the Kremlin is losing its power. Friends, please like this video, subscribe to my channel, Daria, and now watch an analysis of top-tier Russian propaganda.
I think if psychologically it's impossible for a woman, but And the doctor-psychologist carefully and thoughtfully explains that this is, in fact, real life, and that today, in our world, there are many others who are also in need of this very real and genuine life. I want to take a moment to tell you that, in our country, for a number of different reasons, there are currently a significant number of childless couples who, unfortunately, cannot have a baby of their own, despite their hopes and wishes. And the waiting list to adopt small, healthy children is very long. And I think that maybe we should take a different approach here. Yes, agree with the woman that she cannot, or in the future does not want this child, but this child could live in another family.
But the scariest thing is that we men, we kind of go crazy, and women, they help their own, because there's no man, a woman, it's like she's blown around like a leaf, back and forth, because she is, so to speak, meant to be part of a man, you see. She was taken from him, and should join with him. She can't exist on her own, you understand? That's the point. That's why men are foolish and frightening. These foolish men are raised by single mothers, who themselves matured in their own time. You see how scary it is. That's how it is. That's why Christianity is becoming, sick and frightening. And you wonder, what should you do? So according to the canons, no one is allowed to participate.
Roughly speaking, a squadron of 18 Poseidons would completely destroy the very concept of the US as a maritime civilization. Because in that case, all bases, all major port cities, and basically all infrastructure within a roughly 30 to 40 kilometer zone would be destroyed. And just for a moment, that's where 75% of the US population lives. And moreover, let me repeat, the Americans simply have nothing to counter these strikes with, literally nothing. No aircraft carrier, no super secret US submarine can do anything about it. Not a single torpedo is capable of catching up with our torpedo. They just don't have those speeds. That is only if there is a sudden random head-on collision, but this will change little because the megaton charge in this case...
Megaton?
No, I'm talking in megaton quantities. Yes?
I understood, yes. Megaton. I said, Vladimir Vladimirovich, it will be more than Sarmat. You say, let's hit Kiev. That's just a worm. It's a worm. Where did it even come from? And now let's... Why am I going? What are these hundreds? So what am I getting at? Why am I going? Leave Kiev. It'll be easy. Leave Kiev.
Listen, Volodya, and
So they'll leave because Kiev doesn't exist there anymore. Just get up and walk out, that's all. Just like the guys in Belgorod. They're forced to now. Am I supposed to feel sorry for Kievans now? Don't hold your breath. There's no life as it is. Don't hold your breath. That's it. Kiev is gone, and it will never come back. Why? Because you cursed the city. You betrayed it. You betrayed its sacred sites. You desecrated them. You have no right to be there because you are demons who betrayed your own history and your own faith. Cleansing by water and fire. You said it yourselves. In our broadcasts referring to prophecies, the clergy. Perhaps. Well, let's assume the worst case scenario. We are working in conditions of complete isolation. So what? Well, we'll just keep staying in these conditions. No, we'll finally switch to other types of weaponry. At last, we'll strike with full force. We'll finally stop playing around and just do it right here. We'll finally just wipe everything off the face of the earth and be done with it. Regarding weaponry, that's actually a very important thing. Because if it's the Hazel, that's what... What are you insisting on? Is it really Paris, London, and all the rest? No, not Paris, London. It's Washington, Chicago, Seattle, Los Angeles. We can just fly around several times like that. Around. Not from us. It didn't come from us. And not from us. Who came from where? It's even possible. Let's assume the worst case scenario. We're working in conditions of complete isolation. So what?
Well, we'll just keep staying in these conditions.
No, we'll finally switch to other types of weapons. At last, we'll strike with full force. Finally, we'll stop playing around. So let's just wipe everything off the face of the earth here and finally be done with it.
Regarding weaponry, that's actually a very important point, because if we're talking about Oreshnik, which is what you're insisting on, that's really Paris, London, and all the rest.
No, not Paris or London.
It's Washington, Chicago, Seattle, and Los Angeles, such as these cities.
We can simply just circle around in this area several times, just like this, taking our time and moving at a steady pace.
it didn't come from us. And
Not from us. Who came from where? In war, it's not this side or that side that wins. It's the furious ones, the ones who break the enemy's will to resist. So I'll say it again. We've finally started to wipe everything out for good.
There will be no life in Kharkiv, nor in Poltava, nor in Mykolaiv, nor in Odessa. These cities will cease to exist, and so will Kyiv. If civilians don't realize that they've been chosen as expendable material and don't overthrow their Nazi government, don't have the strength, at least leave those cities. Understand that you are being used as a human shield. No strength to leave? I'm sorry. Let me remind you of the fate of Sodom and Gomorrah. There were surely residents there too who simply couldn't leave. They were simply forced to live there, like everyone else.
If someone drops it there, where soon a global call will flash for us to cast it at the dawn horizon, where we will cast our shadows again, like a burden that's become extremely convenient. Get up quickly, for God's sake, I won't leave you here. There will be a bright streak in this darkness, which is as impenetrable as snow at the poles. Everything has spewed out anew, reaching for the heavens. On the elevator of a ray of beauty and the whole eternity of dreams. On the mountain and the grandson, that will be a bright streak. In this darkness, which an age has sung, one must dare at the police station. New faiths, oh, will rejoice in the heavens. On the elevator of a ray of beauty and the whole eternity of dreams.
Where will we cast off our shadows again, when what has become a burden in the corridor? Get up quickly, damn it, I won't leave you here. There will be a bright streak in this darkness, colorless and silent, much like the vast, endless sky at the distant poles. New and resilient steps rising from the ashes will eventually break through to the heavens above, and clad in two radiant beams of shimmering light, true beauty will shine brilliantly. Yes, I truly and sincerely believe that there will eventually be a bright, shining, and hopeful streak in this surrounding darkness, which is only dimly lit and shadowed, like the soft, glimmering snow at the distant frozen poles. New green stems and shoots will bravely break through the cold gray ashes, reaching upward toward the vast open sky, and above the forest, two beautiful radiant rays of light will shine brightly for the eyes to see. The small matchbox, hidden away in the thick bush, continues to patiently wait for us, but in the quiet kitchen, the gas steadily burns with a calm blue flame. Cigarettes in hand, tea on the table, it's all simple on the left. And there is truly nothing else at all. Everything that we ever need or seek is already within us, inside ourselves. In front of, within our hearts, pure and simple love has gently taken shape. Everything is going according to plan. everything is absolutely going according to the carefully planned schedule. To rest in peace. I promise not to take part in the military game, but on my cap there are sickles and hammers of vivid color, and the boiler sits right on the sickles and hammers. The feeling of expectation is dragging on, and everything is still going according. Louder.
Standing on a small grassy patch of ground, marked, with his loving wife standing right beside him. Yes,